Okay, we got here's the Sandcastles report. If you whip out the copy of your Sandcastles report that I've sent along, then you'll be able to see how this is. And let's see, it says right here, it should yield program length of 1 hour, 26 minutes, 53 seconds. The actual file length is 1 hour, 26:30, a difference of 11 seconds. Well, 11 seconds is a long time to be missing. Now, what he does say here is like speculation. It has absolutely nothing to do with what it's been proven to be. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this thing, but there we go. Okay. You can see even more clearly how much is missing. Well, of course, it's on 11 seconds. 11 seconds adds up. See, that's the whole thing about it. 11 seconds is probably the amount of time. It says right here, the file indicative of what is likely a pause. Well, we know it's not a pause now because we got a hold of them about the DM10 DSS recorder, and we know for a fact that this gap cannot be from a pause, and that's from Olympus themselves. So what's it from? It's from an edit. It's from the fact that he cut out a conversation to make me look like a liar. It's really what happened. He tampered with evidence. He purged himself in court. He tampered with official public record, which is what he's carrying around right here. And he falsely imprisoned me. He conspired with another trooper, and both of them did it. They both committed felonies against me, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, very audible break in this background as well, in a general inconsistency of expected recording events. Well, that right there is not a pause. It says likely. So, of course, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Bill Rogers, didn't say that's exactly what it was. Isn't that something? A difference of 11 seconds. Well, 11 seconds can be quite a bit of time. But actually what we end up seeing is that when you look at programs like Audacity, when they cut a tape, they edit a tape, they have a snap to and a snap back. And the snap to and the snap back are set on the recorder so that when you edit, it doesn't cut it'll cut the tape, but it doesn't join like 1.5 seconds and 1.5 seconds. It snaps it forward to the next whole second or back to the next whole second. And what you end up missing is time from those half seconds, quarter seconds, maybe 9/10 of a second, maybe 1/10 of a second. But the fact is, that's most likely where this missing time is the fact that a time difference of 5 seconds on Trooper Chris B. Bitz's one from his Hailstone Incident WMA. Well, of course, you've read the rest of this, and I'll review it for you on a different video. But the fact of the matter is, they ended up with in a draft with, this was originally done by Matt Joy of Bright Solutions. And Matt Joy of Bright Solutions, at the very beginning, in his 13-page preliminary findings, his draft, this was the one that my attorney would have been able to access. So, the incident happened on the 7/18/2011. So that, 7/17, I correct myself. 7/17/2011 was the date of the incident. It happened from about noon till about 2 on our part of it all. Okay, so the trooper would have taken these recordings. He would have placed them in the dock, according to Trooper Bitz, and they would have gone from his recorder to the computer. And if that was the time that happened, then all of these would have come from the recorder at approximately 9:06 a.m. on the 18th of July, 2017, to Chris B. Bitz's recorder, or to this file here. These ones down here, these WMAs, would be Lieutenant Rollo's. And this is when Rollo came along, and you can see it was on 7/22/2011, and this recording at 2:22, this one at 3:39. These must have been when he was downloading them, I would assume, because these are when he would have probably downloaded them, but maybe not, you know. Now here's the crazy thing. Look, Trooper Young downloaded the first two on 7/22, just a couple hours before Lieutenant Rollo showed up. What do you know? Why would he do that? And the even more incredible thing, these tapes were downloaded at the exact time that they happened. 7/17/2011. Huh. Well, how do you end up with such things like that? Well, here's a bigger one so you can see clearly. Right here, 7/22/11 at 11:12, 11:20, 12:13 on the date right here that Trooper Rollo showed up, just hours before Trooper Rollo. And these right here are at the actual time of the incident. Well, isn't that strange? Because I don't remember this man being anywhere near a computer when we were talking to him. And we weren't. You know why? Because these are renamed. All of these were renamed, not on the recorder, but on a computer somewhere else. These ones, he tried to change to make it look like they were at the exact same time. These ones were changed probably to finish up the job. And then you'd think maybe Trooper Bitz. What's up with Trooper Bitz? You know, maybe he's the honest guy. Nah, his are renamed. They're not only renamed, but look, what's this? Jack Wells. Well, this audio is a duplicate of this one, 62 above. So where did Jack Wells come from? Is it one of these? Well, we don't know. But the fact is, this was renamed, and it had to be renamed not on the recorder. This went to a computer file, and then from one computer to the computer that this was downloaded in. That's the only explanation. The only explanation is that it took time to rename, to actually print out Hailstone, to print out Jack Wells, either typing it or texting it or whatever these cops do to do these things, and it would not have downloaded at 9:06. It would have been introduced here, perhaps copied, renamed. It would have been a few minutes later, but not true. These came from another computer. They came from another computer because they're renamed. These came from another computer because they're renamed. These did not come from the recorder like Lieutenant Rollo's did. So we start thinking, gee whiz, that's pretty crazy, right? Well, let's look some more, because I know a couple other places. Let's go to page 21 on the Bright Solution Report. Because here on the Bright Solution Report, he talks about how they can do this stuff, why they do this stuff. Who knows, huh? This is my favorite. Look, cop says, wait a minute. And what do you know? The interruption occurs right on the whole second. A whole second. Now, how would that happen? That would happen because of the snap to or the snap back I was referring to. How the edit is taken to the next whole second. And it was taken from 49.50 to the next whole second. It was snapped forward. And the accumulation of these snap backs or snap forwards in case of Mr. Young and Mr. Bitz is that it accumulated 5 seconds of missing time for Trooper Bitz and 11 seconds for Trooper Young. And that's a lot of editing. So we're still going to page 21. And of course, just so you review, you can see that's missing information that cannot be a pause. That's missing information from right where the interruption occurs right on the whole second. Okay? But still, we're getting to page 21 because this is where I really, really, really want you to have a good look. Because this is what seals the deal for me. Okay? These are audios brought in. Gee, all of Trooper Young's are in mono and all of Trooper everybody else's seems to be in stereo. But that's kind of something I'm not into delving of. But let's look at this. Oh, what do we got here? Let's blow it up a little bit. So we've got Trooper Crispy Bitz. Then we have Trooper Young. Then we have Trooper Rollo. Well, it looks like Trooper Rollo arrived, made his recordings, and his recordings ended at these times. So the times we saw reflected were the end times. Well, 9:06 in the morning wasn't the end time for Trooper Bitz. Nope, Trooper Bitz was recording from, was that 9:27 till 12:16? Well, 12:16 was duplicated and renamed Hailstones. Yeah, same time. They asked Trooper Bitz also, did you delete or alter or change any of these things? And he said no. But Jack Wells was made at 9:03 a.m. and finished at 9:25, which would have made it what? It's not here. It's been deleted. It was CBB0050 DSS. Jack Wells, because he ended his recording at 9:25, and the next recording started at 9:27 a.m., both on the same date. So, Crispy Bitz renamed Jack Wells and deleted the original. And we don't know what's been done to this one. These have all been renamed. But wait a minute, this one was done at 7:17. This one was done at 7:17. This one was done on 7:17. These are the actual dates of the actual incident. Hailstone incident, 7:17. But didn't we see that they downloaded it into the computer on 7:17 and 7:22 shortly before Rollo came along? Shucks, people. It's edited. Period. They edited and they know it. They know they edited it when he said that he hadn't changed or edited or deleted or altered. They renamed them. They reordered them. Hailstone Audio and CBBB, this one right here, are missing 5 seconds from complete time. Hailstone Incidents is missing 11 seconds. All of these need to be checked against each other to see if any other ones are missing or if the recorders were working perfectly that day until that incident. And by the way, having 2 separate recorders in 2 separate pockets, having the same problem on the same day is pretty mathematically impossible. So we know these things. We know that they've been renamed. That couldn't be done on the original recorder. We know that they've been deleted, which wasn't done on the original recorder because he renamed it before he deleted the first one. I believe if we look through the record, we might find that he said that he had actually talked to Jack Wells and it didn't record, but I might be wrong. Oh, Christopher B. Bitz. Oh, here we go. See, it happened on the 17th of July, and Chris B. Bitz turned in his recording on audio of interviews on the 9th of August, 8, 9, 11. That's like 20 some odd days later, almost 3 weeks later. Huh. What's with that? So there's our gap in information that can't be a pause. There's a Sandcastle recording that shows that there's 11 seconds missing from Trooper Young's and 5 seconds missing from Trooper Bitz's. And there's all the renames. There's the rename. There's one that's been deleted out of this file. These are the ones from Trooper Rollo. These ones right here by Trooper Young were redone onto this one. These ones here are redone at the exact same time. Well, you know what? He didn't say Tom Nay and Tom and Chip at jail at the exact time that they were happening because you can't rename these things. These times are all wrong because they're fake to cover up the editing. Of course. Let's see, what else did these guys do? Well, they tampered with my evidence to make me look like a liar. And they did it, as you can see, by renaming all this stuff. But more than anything, I want you guys to know that I feel in my heart that these things are tampered with. Oh, look, the next day, Crispy Bitz seized from Wells' residence. Oh, it's none of my stuff. Okay, you know what's an interesting thing we should find out? It seems to me that if you look at the times, if they were actually lined up, that Crispy Bitz's recordings are actually within Trooper Young's. So if this was the median line, and you had Trooper Bitz's recording, Trooper Young's recordings on a timeline would look something like this. But it's in my head. I don't know how to make a model of that, but I'll come up with something. And then, of course, there's all the questions that the audio forensic specialist was really interested in. It says, there are some additional thoughts. It says, why do the dates and timestamps on the recordings differ? Why don't the lengths of the recordings correlate with the lengths of subtracting the start and stop times? What happened to the missing 11 seconds? What explains the missing 5 seconds? It's all editing. Why don't they record? Because it was edited. Why don't they do it? Why don't they, the dates and timestamps differ? Because it was edited. What happened to the missing 11 seconds? It was edited. What explains the missing 5 seconds? It was edited. What model and make recorder were each officer using? DM10 DSS recorder. We found that on the solution. Oh, this is the draft. Well, anyway, the findings here. Why are the officers using different audio formats and file naming conventions? Why is there an apparent gap? When were the files placed into evidence and stored away from the troopers' control? Well, the troopers had control of them the entire time. They're in the troopers' pockets. It went from the troopers' pockets to the troopers' dock, and then it went to the troopers' computer. This is entirely the Alaska State Troopers, represented by Gordon D. Young and represented by Chris B. Bitz, who edit information that made me look like a liar. They edited the public record, they edited their audios, and then they used them to indict me and to convict me. And I spent almost a year in prison because of this. Why was this not recorded on the evidence intake form? What's standard procedure for handling digital audio? And would the standard procedure note the time and date when evidence was submitted beyond the control of a single individual? Well, evidently it wasn't because they destroyed it. It's gone. That's just the way it goes. And that's what they did. These troopers were tampering with physical evidence. And they committed the crime of committing physical evidence when they destroyed, mutilate, altered, concealed, and removed physical evidence to impair my ability in official proceeding or criminal investigation. Period. It's a Class C felony. They were tampering with the public record in a first degree. The public record was a recording they made. It's a Class C felony. So there's at least 1 felony, 2 felonies. Perjury by inconsistent statements. Perjury by inconsistent statements is a Class 3 felony. It's the person does not believe one of the statements to be true at the time the statement is made. Well, that statement would have been, had they tampered with it? Had they altered it in any way? Was this a true recording? Had they done anything at all? So that's still perjury. And perjury, by the way, is Alaska Statute 1156-200. Let me see if I got that up. Oh, false information report. They provided false information to the peace officer, Lieutenant Rollo. Either the guy's a complete idiot, which is very possible because he is one of them. He's the blue wall. And maybe he was dumb enough to think that they could get away with it. But unfortunately, for the thousands of great officers out there, it's just 2 or 3 of these people. Not only is it 2 people that have committed the crime, but the guy that either couldn't catch him or didn't want to catch him. And I'm not sure which is that of Lieutenant Rollo. I personally think he's an idiot. Personally. But that's just, to be seen. Evidently, he flubbed this up. He didn't get these guys when he had a chance. They got by him. They fooled him. So, conspiracy. These guys had to think together. I was punished with a Class B felony. It's a Class C felony if the object of the conspiracy of the crime is punishable as a Class C. Well, it was. So, you're talking 1 felony, 2 felony, 3 felony, maybe 4 each. 5 felonies. Or no, that's a misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor. But conspiracy, it would be a felony too. 5 felonies. And a misdemeanor. Grounds for arrest. So, a private person or peace officer without a warrant may arrest a person when a felony has been in fact committed and the person making the arrest has a reasonable cause for believing the person to have committed it. So, we've been looking for Trooper Young, been looking for Trooper Crispy Bitz, and we've got a pretty good fix on him. And this right here is a viable and very ethical and a very good idea. That's what it is. So we'll see what comes of it. Anyway, there's people we can look for. If we can't get help from law enforcement, I've been to the FBI. So I'll get the FBI to help me. Grounds for private arrest. Yeah, that'd be a good one, huh? Of course, I'd have to turn them over to the FBI, But anyway, let's try to win them in court so we don't have to win them on the ground or jump them. But I do have what I believe is a very viable reason for citizen's arrest on Alaska State Trooper Crispy Bitz and Gordon D. Young. And I'm going to stop this video, and then I'll start the one that shows all my papers. My peppers.